Is silver the next GameStop? You might be thinking, wow, one is a precious metal and the other is a store that its stock became the focal point of a cultural phenomena. And you're right, but apparently retail investors are at it again. In the wake of the unprecedented short squeezes involving GME and AMC in early 2021, a group of retail investors from the Reddit forum Wall Street Bets set their sights on the silver market, attempting to challenge Wall Street's giants with a so-called silver short squeeze. The silver short squeeze movement has sparked on the Wall Street Bets forum, where users urge each other to buy silver and silver-related assets to drive up the prices and create a short squeeze on financial institutions holding short positions in the metal. Redditors thought that silver market was particularly susceptible to a short squeeze because they believe the commercial COMEX traders were holding obscured long short positions. So they thought they were short, going out of their way to hide that they were short. Then people were like, well, hang on, if it worked with GME in the past, maybe it'll work with silver now? The silver short squeeze was driven by the belief that silver was undervalued and that its price had been artificially suppressed by large financial institutions. By banding together to buy silver, small investors aim to expose market manipulation and level the playing field against Wall Street. So this is kind of interesting. They're saying that it's artificially pushed down, but on top of it, maybe it's just good from a fundamental standpoint to be in a precious metal, especially when we're in an inflationary, also just an overall suspect environment. The silver short squeeze only managed to attract a small fraction of the wave of excitement that flooded the retail investment sphere with the GME squeeze. That makes sense. People aren't locked inside anymore. We're not getting stimmy checks anymore. And also we're not in a quantitative easing environment. So kind of makes sense. So far, the hypothesis hasn't held up well, as the price of silver has only fallen since it started to blow up on Reddit. Yeah, but recently, depending on when you're watching this, we've actually seen silver go from 20 to 22. So in the short term, at least at the point that I'm filming this, it's actually done pretty well. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's entirely baseless or that silver isn't undervalued. That's a very fair point. Silver has been one of the most popular safe haven and store value assets for nearly all of written history. Along with gold, it is often more popular in times of economic uncertainty, with the fear of widespread bank runs, rising interest rates, worsening conflict in Ukraine, and more smaller scale crises than you can count. It's hard to call the economic outlook for 2023 as anything but uncertain. There is a very real scenario, and I'm saying this at a time that I own no silver, in which if there are a bunch of obscure short positions and people start to buy silver as some sort of hedge, there is a chance that it can go crazy. If it all does play out, I think there could be crazy fireworks, not only just because it's fun to watch a squeeze, but we know that not long ago, the LME has been doing really sus things to stop people from blowing up. So all of a sudden, if this happens, it could legitimately put the entire London Metal Exchange on tilt. And if it does happen, and then all of a sudden the exchange is like favoring the shorts, it could just ruin the entire exchange. It could just decimate it. So if anything does happen, obviously I'm going to update you in the future, but I just want to put this on your radar for now, just maybe potentially in the short term to give us something to watch.